At some point in your life, you are going to wish that you got more time with your kids. Well, life is giving you that thing right now.
The key to parenting is presence. You have to give them lots of presence. Not that kind of presence, the other kind, Presence, presence.
What matters is that you are what your kids need.
When I'm overcommitting, I'm not taking time for myself. I'm stealing time from my children because our most important job is stuff like that, bedtime and bath time, and being there with them.
I had a real shit day, like of epic proportions, got emailed by reporters about it. But the upshot was that I ended up getting home much earlier than I had expected. And as a result, I got to pick my son up from school, and I had been planning to do that. It strikes me that a lot of the things that we dread, that we don't want to happen, plans falling through, travel delays, getting stuck by the side of the road with a flat tire, those bedtimes that go on and on and on, those crazy early morning wake-ups, getting fired, you're sick, they're sick, it's a snow day, lockdowns during the middle of a pandemic. There's so many things that we don't want to happen in life. But the upshot of them is that we get to spend more time with our kids. If we can think about these things as opportunities to spend more time with our kids, even if that's just an extra hour in the car, even if that's a night in the airport, even if that's a lot of days at home while you're applying for jobs. The upshot of these things is no small thing. And in fact, at some point in your life, you're going to wish that you got more time with your kids. Well, life is giving you that thing right now, whether it's a small interaction or weeks of interactions on end. If it's giving you more time with your kids, well, it's not all bad.
You'll get asked this question. People will say, hey, can I pick your brain for a minute? Or, hey, can I get a few minutes from you? Hey, can you look at this for me? People ask for stuff. That's fine. But I think sometimes we're not aware of what they are asking from us, what they are taking from us. Seneca said you could ask the wisest minds of all time and they would have trouble coming up with an explanation for why people are protective of money and property, but not of their time. And I think it's really important as a parent that you realize that when someone is picking your brain, they're picking your pocket. They're also stealing time from your family. There's a story about Kobe Bryant, a reporter shared after his death that, she'd asked him if he wanted to be interviewed for this piece. And he said, hey, my girls are keeping me busy. I'm heads down. I can't do it. And he died shortly thereafter. It's only the starkness of his almost immediate death that puts it into contrast, that when we are agreeing to do stuff that we don't need to do, when we're letting people take stuff from us, when we're observing various social niceties for no real reason because we don't want to seem rude, we are in fact being rude. We're being rude to our family. We promised the bulk of our time to these people that we brought into the world. That's who we owe not being rude to, first and foremost. That's whose feelings we should not want to hurt. That's who we don't want to be rude to. But we're happy to go, hey, I'm going to be home late tonight, or hey, sorry, I won't be able to see you tomorrow, or hey, I'm going to be gone on your birthday, or whatever it is. We're more inclined to say that sometimes than we are to say, sorry, I can't, sorry, I'm too busy, sorry, I've got a baby at home, sorry, I'd just rather be with my family. I have a sign in my office that says no. It's a reminder to say no, and it is between two pictures of my kids, and it is a reminder that when I am saying yes to things, I am also saying no to these two people. And conversely, when I say no, which I'm trying to remind myself to do more, I am saying yes to these two people. So who do you owe your time to? Who do you give the bulk of your time to? Who do you give your best time to? It's a shame that we are so frivolous and free with our time, and then our family, our kids, they get the leftover. We give the best years of our kids' lives to things that we won't even remember in a few years. We will, at some point in the future, be willing to trade everything for one more minute, one more second with them. What we would kill to go back to having them be a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old, to be at Disneyland with them at that age again. And here we are right now in this moment, throwing it away like it's nothing.
David Herbert Donald talks about how Lincoln spent so much more time with his children than men of that time. He spent so much time with his kids that he was criticized for it. People said he was wife whipped and henpecked because he was seen in Springfield, like carrying his kids around,
pulling them in a wagon, actually doing the parenting job. It's interesting to think that these stereotypes, they go way back. The best parents, the most confident people, they don't think about them, because what matters is the job. What matters is the responsibility that you've taken on. What matters is that you are what your kids need. What other people think, it doesn't matter. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks about how we care about ourselves, we care about our family more than other people, and yet we care about other people's opinions more than our own. That was what was so great about Lincoln. He didn't care about gender stereotypes. He didn't care about racial stereotypes. He cared about doing what was right, which as a parent meant taking care of his own children. We are not very good with time. Seneca says, it's not that we don't have enough of it, it's that we waste a whole lot of it. But one of the wonderful things I found about having kids is that it puts this in perspective, because I'm not wasting my time. When I'm overcommitting, I'm not taking time for myself. I'm stealing time from my children. I'm stealing time that I promised someone else. And so we have to think about time as our most precious resource. Seneca says, death is not in the future. Death is happening right now. We're dying every minute. When we waste it on social media, when we waste it in pointless meetings, when we waste it going to things that we don't need to go to, even though we have a million other things to do. We waste our time, but we're not just taking that time from ourselves. We're taking it from our children. We're taking it from the important work that only we can do. We're taking it from our spouse. And of course, we are also taking it from ourselves. Stop wasting time. It's your most precious resource. And you have to protect it, not just for yourself, but for the people you care about and the people that you don't know how much time you will get with. King George VI, that's the father of Queen Elizabeth II, he met with his Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. So you might think that when Queen Elizabeth took over in 1952, she would continue this tradition. She is, after all, a traditionalist. But she didn't, because at the time, Queen Elizabeth had 2 young children, and every parent knows roughly 5:30 p.m. is dinner time, knocking on bath time, knocking on bedtime. And she wanted to avoid that painful question like, is mom gonna play with us tonight? Or why isn't mom gonna play with us tonight, as one of her biographer writes. So what Queen Elizabeth did was she moved that audience about 6:30 p.m., which allowed her to go into the nursery, to put them in their bath, and then tuck them into bed before she went and talked matters of state with Winston Churchill. The point is, when you have kids, you have to be willing to make adjustments. You're going to have to be willing to change things. You're going to have to be willing to move other people and other things around. And that your job should, in most cases, come second to your kids, right? Because our most important job is stuff like that, bedtime and bath time, and being there with them. If the Queen can put off Winston Churchill for an hour, I'm pretty sure that you can reschedule that conference call. If she can put her family first, then you can put your family first. Whatever business you're in, you can do that.
Sometimes I feel like with work, it's doable. Sometimes with even our partner or with friends, it's possible to say no, to be disciplined. I find like, and I want to ask you this from your perspective, what about a sense of dad guilt? Like we talk a lot about mom guilt, and you know, if I was speaking to mom, I'd ask about mom guilt in this scenario. But from a dad guilt point of view, like you're a dad, I see you wanting to be a good dad, and you're very involved with your kids, but at the same time, you're a writer and you're in a bookstore and you're doing activist work. Like there's so many things that you do. Do you ever feel like that's like the hardest place where discipline? Because it's like, even if a dad comes home at 3 a.m. and the kid wants him at 4 a.m., like does the dad stay up? Like what does the dad do? How does it work?
Well, it's so insidious. What we do is we go like, I'm doing this for my family, right? And it's like, are you? Or are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for the money? How can you be doing it for your family if you don't see those people as a result of what you're doing? Someone told me many years ago, they said, love is spelled T-I-M-E. And I think about that all the time. I mean, obviously, I always have things that take me away more than I would like them to be. And I suppose I could do nothing, but that would also leave me unfulfilled. That would not be me setting the example I want to set for my kids. But at the end of the day, realizing that everything I say yes to also means saying no to someone or something else. And in some ways, I try to use that dad guilt a little constructively. I try to go, okay, this person's asking me to do this thing, or this person's offering me money to do this thing, or this is some cool opportunity. They want me to go heli skiing in British Columbia or something. And I go, I don't want to say no to this cool opportunity. I don't want to miss this memory. I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. Then I go, but I am hurting a person's feelings. I am saying no to a memory. Like I am taking something away from someone. And that person is a 5-year-old, and they're going to feel it far more deeply. Someone else will take my spot on that plane to British Columbia. No one will spend that time with my kids. And so I try to use that guilt constructively in the sense that I'm reminding myself always that saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else. And that conversely, saying no means saying yes, right? And that I always, as much as I can, I want to be saying yes to the things that actually matter to me. And I want to be putting my money where my mouth is. It's like, if someone looked at your calendar, you say you put your family first, you say family is important, blah, blah, blah. But then if I looked at your calendar, what would it show, right? If there was a custody hearing, or, if you were being investigated, if you were being audited, what would the receipts show? Do you actually value them? Do you put them first? And it should be pretty obvious whether that's true or not.
Don't be afraid to get rid of things that distract your attention. Leo Tolstoy. You are distracted because this weird work email just came in. You're in a bad mood because of something you saw. You're feeling off because of something that somebody said to you. And what happens? Well, your kids get the brunt of it. Or they only get 50% of you at dinner because you're home, but not really home. Preoccupation is the enemy of good parenting. And the worst part, kids can sense it. They are simultaneously sponges and mirrors, and unflattering ones at that. When they act out, make a mess, bite their brother, dye their hair pink, this is what's happening. They sense your energy and they are responding to it. The sad truth is that most of what we are preoccupied with doesn't even matter. We give the jerk at the office free space in our head. We choose to go on Twitter and doom scroll. We don't need to check our email as much as we do. Worrying about money never solves our money problems. We have to push all of that away so we can be present, so we can be patient, so we can be parents. There was once a very talented and precocious teenager named Johnny Gunther. He was the pride and joy of his two loving parents. He was brilliant and fun, and he was heading for Harvard. And then suddenly there was a diagnosis and a 15-month battle with a brain tumor, and ultimately it was a life that ended too soon. And at the end of the beautiful book that his parents would write about this experience, Death Be Not Proud, Johnny's mother, Frances, she reflects on the loss of her boy. She says, what does a person think and feel when they have buried a child, when they are reflecting on this all too brief time they had with the person they loved most in the world? She says, all I wish is that I wish we'd loved Johnny more. That was it. That was what she kept coming back to. And it's not that they didn't love him. You can't read Death Be Not Proud. You can't read about the Gunthers and not be struck by what a wonderful, loving family they were. It's just that when everything is stripped away, all she could think about were the opportunities she could have seized on to appreciate him and their time more, how she could have said it more. We should all hope never to experience such a loss. No parent should ever have to bury a child. But still, we should try to think about our time here, think about how limited our time is with the people we love, and think about the end. And when we are reflecting on our lives or their lives, what will we wish for? We will wish that we loved them more, even if we told them 1,000 times, 1,000 ways every single day. We will still think about how woefully short we came to expressing that. What that means is that we should try now. We should do it one more time. We should do it 1,000 more times. We should tell them every day in every way how much they mean to us. And more importantly, we should show them how much they mean to us. If you want to get better at your most important job, I send out one piece of parenting advice every single day. That's the Daily Dad newsletter. It's followed by hundreds of thousands of parents all over the world. It's totally free, no spam. You can sign up right now for free at dailydad.com.